Hi there. My name is John Stevens. I'm pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we are part of the ELCA. And welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary text and we tie them to an item from the Dollar Tree or the junk drawer or the kids' room or the garage. You know how we've been doing it. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your week with me in this way. And by the way, you are rocking it. Thank you so much for the love that you're sharing with your kids and your congregations and your families. They are better for it. Thank you so much. This is for the narrative lectionary, and this is for February 4th, and it's the death of John the Baptist, but we are working actually with a little bit different part of that text because there's a lot in this text to work with. Now, I'm recording this in my hotel room at Saturday night at the getting close to the end of the extravaganza, and met so many of you, and my heart is full. So thank you so much, and for all the new friends that I've met, my life is better for it. So thank you so much. So, and I get home late Sunday night, actually early Monday morning, and I want to get this out there so that we have time to let this percolate and work in our hearts and our brains. So anyway, this is for the narrative lectionary, like I said, and we're looking at what Luther Seminary entitles "Death of John the Baptist," because that works. That's in there, but there is other stuff in here, and for the children's sermon, that's what I'm working on. I'm actually not talking about the beheading of John the Baptist for the children's sermon. Shocking. Anyway, if you are, more power to you, but this is the direction that I am suggesting. So the text is Mark 6, 1 to 29, lots of stuff. So the dollar store items that I'm thinking about, one is like a hiking stick, and you can find this in your backyard, some type of branch, it's a hiking stick, gloves, Google Maps. So you can't find that in the backyard, but Google Maps, like on your phone, on your iPad, or a printed map that you pull out and you open it up. I don't know if you've got, like, in the back of your car, you have an old Thomas guide. That's gonna date you. You got the old Thomas guide that you can pull that out, and how you find things, your atlas you pull out. The idea that I'm going with on this is that we are sent out, because there's the sending of the disciples. We are sent out, but we're sent out with direction, and we're sent out with the understanding that Jesus will go with us. And God, in that sending, we trust the Spirit. We trust that God walks with us as we are sent out. We are not sent out alone. We're sent out by the power of the Spirit and the power of God. So all of these things, so the map and the hiking stick and the gloves, you could use all of those if you wanted. And the idea was that when we go on a trip, when we are sent out, we could just get in the car and start going, or we're going to grab a stick and we just walk into the wilderness. Or a better way, following that godly play question, a better way of doing this might be looking at the map, listening to directions, seeing where we want to go, and Google Maps will give us that direction. You could you could play, and this is another, a springboard off that. You could do a treasure hunt in the sanctuary, where you've placed something. Maybe this is, I am just spitballing here, but you could have, let's say, the pastor's sermon. You could put your sermon somewhere. Or I was thinking about communion elements, but anyway, maybe just with painter's tape, and X marks the spot, and you're sent out with direction to find it, because the idea of driving home, that we are given a direction. These are those times that in my workshops I was talking about things that, like, you might put something out and realize, I don't think I'm going to use that. I don't know, but there's that. But what's really drawing my imagination and my attention is the idea of that we are sent out with direction, that God walks with us, that Jesus sends us out with a particular purpose, that as we are sent out into this world. So there's that. If you want to deal with or talk about John the Baptist and the beheading of John the Baptist. I don't know if I'd go with the beheading, but you could talk about that a friend of Jesus dies. That John the Baptist, a cousin, a relative, but a friend of Jesus dies. And we get the verse, we don't get it in here, but we get the verse, and Jesus wept. And in that, that's it has to do with Lazarus. Sorry, I'm going here. Like I said, it's late tonight. I'm not even going to cut that out. But I'm thinking about that in that where we hear the story about John the Baptist dying, and so another item might be a tissue, might be the idea that this is hard stuff. Could you imagine the people that are around John the Baptist, and that this is important stuff, and that God sits with us when we hurt. God sits with us when we cry. God is with us when we hurt and when we feel joy. But when we feel hurt, God doesn't abandon us. God doesn't leave us. God doesn't say, "See ya." But when we hurt, God sits with us and God holds us, and that's important for kids and adults to know, that God cares for us, and God didn't cause the hurt. God didn't cause the beheading. God didn't cause the death. And in that, God sits with us. There's a lot of stuff to deal with in there. So that I would probably look at and continue at that direction of that God is, that we are sent out with purpose. We are sent out with direction, and that God walks with us. And you could really, that God is with us in both. But that's the direction I'm going with. I'm hoping this can be helpful for your own children's sermon. And as always, you are rocking it, my friends. Thank you so much for the love that you are sharing with your kids and your congregations and your families. Thank you. And thank you for the partnership in this ministry and the love and what you are doing. All right? It's late. I'm going to call it a night. Peace, and we will see you next time.